Welcome to Newsworthy Stories with Jacqueline Jimenez. Now, if you want to know who's the person to talk to about federal contracting connections, look no further. Eric Coffey is joining us from GovCon Giants, and he has an upcoming conference called Contracting Connections, and you don't want to miss it. It's coming up next week. Eric, what is it about this contracting connections that we need to know about?
Yeah, what I want people to know is that it's never happened before in the history of South Florida where federal agencies have come together, right? We've got more than 24 federal agencies coming together in a room to meet our small business community. They want to increase the industrial base, and they're making time to come and sit down and talk to the small businesses in the South Florida community, making it easy as possible and as convenient as possible for you to get to know them, for them to get to know you, so that you guys can interact and start to do business together. And that's what I want people to take from this today.
You know, Eric, you first really talked to me about this last year when you were doing the GovCon Giant Summit. And you really made it clear to me how much the federal government wants to do business with small businesses. Can you tell me a little more in depth about the numbers as to why we should pay attention?
So the reason why we should pay attention is because at this point, it's becoming almost a national security issue. We know that a lot of consolidation is happening at the top. However, when it comes to our industrial base, it's important that we maintain a strong industrial base for the security of our nation, frankly, because what's happening is since 2009, our industrial base has been shrinking for the last 2 decades. We've gone from 120,000 small businesses to around 65,000 small businesses, while at the same time, the amount of funding and dollars going into that pocket have almost doubled. And so we went from $98 billion to $170 billion to, I think the last numbers we checked was around $189 billion. And that's just in small business spending alone. So while the numbers in terms of people participating has halved, the amount of money has doubled. So as you can imagine, that's a 4x differential there. If I'm doing my math correctly, I know some of these people are going to question my numbers, but nevertheless, there's a lot of opportunity out here, and no one on neither side of the aisle has been able to solve for this issue. And I think this is a critical issue because why? We want to remain the number one country, the number one nation. We want to keep all of our borders safe. We want to keep all of our computers safe. We want to fight off hackers and adversaries. And so in order to do that, we need a healthy industrial base, and we need innovators. We need technologists. We need contractors and folks out here willing to put in the work to go out and help fight and protect our nation from all of our foreign adversaries and to keep us being the number one country in the world.
How does GovCon do that?
You know, we do that in a couple of different ways, right? The first thing that we do for people, if we're talking about GovCon Giants, our organization, is that we put out a bunch of free content, right? We put out a bunch of educational and training content, taking you from zero to actually how to win your first contract, how to get registered, how to get certifications, how to do business with the government, how to speak the lingo. So that's the first pillar. It's just the education part, right? And that's free. The second pillar is through inspiration, right? We interview top small businesses because we all know, Jacqueline, is that it doesn't matter how much information you have. If you don't believe that it's possible for you, if you don't see yourself in that role, if you don't see that someone that looks like you or someone that came from your situation, your background, it makes it much harder for you to believe that this is possible. So the second pillar is really giving people the confidence that know that they have that ability to do it. In fact, I just got off an interview with a 27-year-old who's won 4 contracts, and she just started in March. So
Wow.
we want to provide the education and the tools. The education first, then we want to inspire you, but then we want to provide the tools. And so that's the third pillar, is giving you all the tools that you need to do this. We do that through a series of activities. And so the conference, I would say, is congruence of all those things, right? You're going to have the education, you're going to have the inspiration, and then you're going to have the tools. So for example, one of the reasons why they say small businesses fail, Jacqueline, do you know what the number one reason why they say small business fail?
What is the number one reason?
They say lack of capital.
Huh.
Right? Because people don't have capital. If you had capital, you can build this huge business and grow and scale, right? So having a contract and not having capital, you can't actually fulfill it. So for example, we have a lender that's coming to our event, and they are currently lending $500 million to minority firms. Now, having the capital is good, right? That's a good thing. Having a resource partner is great. So not only do they provide you the capital, they provide you with the back office support. They provide you with payroll and staffing solutions. They provide you with a letter of credit that you may need to and win the contract that requires you to get the capital. So there's a lot of factors that go into this that we help shape and we help put it together for small business almost on a silver platter. So we just got to plug you in as the operator and the person to go out there and do the activities. But we really come around and we offer up all of the things, all the tools, the education, the resources that you need in order to be successful. And that's why one of the things that I say is if you go through any of my trainings, if you watch any of my free content, you already have more knowledge than 99% of the population. And then when you start getting to our paid trainings, that we've successfully taken dozens of companies from $0 to $5 million in revenue through our paid trainings. And some of the companies now we're working with are approaching $20 million in annual revenues. So we really do educate, inspire, and then give people tools that they need in order to succeed in this marketplace.
I like this particular slide that I found because I love this closing the divide because that's pretty much what you were just saying, what you were talking about.
Right.
And I think that this passion behind, I know there's a story behind it, but you have to come to the conference to hear it. It's one of those things. You need to come to the conference to hear it because when I first heard it, I was just like, wow. That's a story. And, and I love people with that have a story, obviously, behind what they do, because that passion is what's fueling, the free content. And the free content that you can find is on YouTube, So my whole thing is you need to connect with Eric, in the first place, because your mind is going to be a little blown, The reason why he's calling it contracting connections is because that's what he does on a daily basis. If you connect with him on LinkedIn, one of the things that every time I see, like you were talking about the 27-year-old, when you help somebody, you promote them and you say, hey, this person is doing this and that, and it's inspiring, whether you realize it or not, it's inspiring. It goes, what am I doing? Get off my butt. Get down to Eric's, and get on it,
Yeah.
But he's bringing it right here to South Florida, and what a great place to be is on Miami Beach, one of the most historic hotels, and he's bringing a level of people that are going to be coming along with it. A minute ago, I was showing you a slide that really looked at some of the sponsorships that are, backing Eric. They're not on there for no reason. So Eric, talk about the people who are backing you.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because we have, for example, the SBA just released a brand new certification program, and Jackie Robinson, who is leading the charge in that certification program, she's going to be coming out to meet all of you and talk about these programs and how they help small businesses. They are increasing the amount of small percentages of small business goals. We're going to be talking about that at the summit, right? And how that's going to affect you guys. We're having the two largest federal agencies outside of DOD, how to do business with them, because why? It's important to learn how to do business with large federal agencies as opposed to some of the smaller agencies. But then when we talk about working with some of the civilian agencies, that's different than the defense, right? Because you have the Department of Defense, and then you have civilian agencies like, for example, the FAA, which has its own set of rules. Now, the good thing about it is people like the FAA can give you contracts and direct awards without you being even certified because they have their own rules. So we're going to teach you how to work with different agencies, and how to do business with them. And then also we want them to talk to you about their needs and what they're missing and what they're looking for. What you have on the screen is tribal organizations. We're going to talk to you about leveling up with tribes, because when you get to a certain size, and I just interviewed one of them today, they're looking for companies around $500,000 to $1 million. But by becoming a teaming partner with them, you still have full control of your business. It's all your but by being a teaming partner and being able to add value, they can double your revenues in 6 to 12 months. So we're going to show you how to do that in our event. And that's what separates us from everybody else. And that's why I'm so passionate, because when I'm speaking at the local community levels, I'm so disheartened by the quality of things that they do for you, because all they do is tell you that there's all this money out here and there's all this opportunity, but they don't tell you how to get it and what to do. And that's my distinguishing factor. That's my USP, because we tell people what to do, how to do it, and all you're left to do is to actually follow the steps.
That's it. And that is not something people do,
No.
on a regular basis. And so that's why I'm always excited when I hear, you're around, you're coming up, you have these events, and I like to promote you because, you don't ask me to promote you. I promote you because I know that the information that you're sharing is important. And so I know that, a lot of people that join me are from LinkedIn. And if they knew better, right, you do better. Isn't that the saying?
Yeah.
And sometimes you just have to try something different, get to meet these people in person and find out how your business can actually connect with some of these federal businesses, organization. I don't know that you know or you don't know, but for the last 2 years, the USDA has become, my dear to me, and the whole agriculture and conservation. We've been doing youth entrepreneurship retreats in the U.S. Virgin Islands and in parts of the Caribbean, like Puerto Rico. And we just came back with the partnership with James Amps of Amps International.
Yeah.
Just came back from Alabama. And brought it back, to the States, and now we're hitting back on, not the States, but the mainland, as we call it.
Right.
But working with the federal government is fun. I love it. To me, yeah, there's some things, but once you make those connections, the people are like we were talking, Eric and I were talking about. They're just like you and me. They're everyday people. They just happen to be in charge of millions and billions of dollars at the same time. But they do want to work with small businesses. And that's why I think this conference is, a first step for you if you haven't tried.
Absolutely. No, and I will second that. You have to understand that it takes a lot. And if you don't know this, let me explain this to you. For a government person to come to an event like this, they have to request permission to come. They have to justify it. The government's paying for it. So they have to get some return on this event. So they would not come here if they did not believe that there was a community of people, of entrepreneurs, small businesses that needed to have access to this information, that needed to learn this information, that they thought that they could increase their supplier base by attending. So they're coming here for that. So if you decide not to show up, then just know that you forfeit your opportunity, your chance to be able to sit in a room and in one day meet 20 different federal agencies. Think about how much time that would take you to try to coordinate that on your own as an individual. Think about how much time it would take for you to try to have a meeting with 20, even myself, to have a meeting with 20 different federal agencies, not excluding the contractors, right? We're just talking about the agencies themselves. How much time would that take you to have? How much time would it take from you, right? And so a lot of times, this is for me, that single-handedly is enough value in it for me just to show up, because at the last day we're having matchmaking, and you can sign up and literally sit down with them and tell them about your business, and they'll talk to you about what it is, how they work, and then the ideas to develop a relationship and cultivate it. And now you take that, you own that relationship. I don't have anything to do with it. You own the relationship, and Eric's out of the mix. All I'm doing is becoming the facilitator, the mediator, and I'm the host and putting everybody in the room together. And I say, now you guys go out and you do the work.
Do not miss this conference. Contracting Connections. Do not miss this conference. Even if you're not sure, even if you think, oh, maybe not me, go find out. Because I think that you will be pleasantly surprised when you do. Eric, I want to make sure, that people understand, is there anything else that I'm missing? Because I just really wanted to share this to make sure that, the people who, join me here on Newsworthy Stories are aware of it. It's so important. Space Force is going to be there.
Yeah.
so
Na-
excited.
Listen, we have NASA, but we also have the NASA STEM program. So one thing that I think that we miss is if you're a college student, if you're someone that's looking for even jobs, we have NASA STEM, which manages the workforce development. And again, they're hiring college students to work in NASA under their STEM program, and they're paid internships. So those are things that again, I can tell you last year we had a that I met. I spoke at Blacks in Technology, their conference, and a lot of them were college students that were, studying engineering and getting different science degrees. And I told them, I said, I appreciate you guys having all these certificates and you're really smart and intelligent, but what you're looking for is money. Like that's what you want, right? He goes, yeah. I said, you need to come to my conference, meet the people. They don't even if you don't have a business, you could come to them. And these people got plenty of jobs. I mean, one of my speakers, my friend Travis, who you've met, Jacqueline, he has 1,200 employees, but he also has 250 open vacancy positions for jobs. If you go and meet him and tell him what you do, it's likely he's going to introduce you to a CEO and they're going to make you a job offer, particularly if you're a veteran. So you not only can you get contracts, you can also get high paying jobs because you're going to be in a room with entrepreneurs and business people who have hundreds, if not thousands of employees.
Thank you, Eric. Because you know what? You're right. It would take an eternity for us to get in a room with this amount of people, with quality, so much quality. And you did the legwork, you did it. And so I'm just really grateful in advance because I can't wait to be in the room. I cannot
48
wait.
speakers.
That's
48 speakers.
insane. It's a 2 day.
2 day event. 48 speakers, 32 exhibitors, 24 confirmed federal agencies.
That's a lot.
No, it's a lot. And we're talking about mostly CEOs, right? From the companies. So all the companies that are coming here, you got the CEOs. So you're meeting the CEOs of these organizations.
That alone is better because you don't no middle people. You just go
No,
straight
go
to
straight
the
to the top.
source.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
So
Thank you so much. I just want to, make sure that you leave on the last word. What should we know? Anything else? Where can we go? GovConGiants.com.
I want you to know that you can do it, believe in yourself, and you just got to take the first steps and then have faith for the rest. GovConGiants.com. GovCon Giants is my organization. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, all social media platforms.
Get to know Eric Coffey. Connect with him first. Today, right now. Get on it. Thank you, Eric. Thank you for joining me for these stories.
Thank you.
Can't wait.